protein will suppress your appetite longer, make you feel full, and also they will give you more energy because protein gives you energy. Well, sugar, we get energy for a few minutes, but you crave more and you want more.
Welcome to Midlife Unraveled, the podcast that takes you on a journey through the twists and turns of midlife. I'm your host, Anita Gilbert, and I've transitioned from the corporate world of investment banking to become the proud owner of a yoga and Pilates studio. Together, we're going to navigate the exhilarating roller coaster that is midlife. Each episode, we dive deep with a seasoned expert to rediscover and redefine how to live our best during this life-changing period. Join us every Tuesday for new episodes, brimming with wisdom, insights, inspiration, and a laugh along the way. So strap in, because Midlife Unraveled is about to redefine the way you embrace midlife. Subscribe today and take this journey with us. Talking about weight can sometimes be a really sensitive subject for so many people, but not when we chat to Janelle. She brings her bubbly and very positive spin on things, and you'll walk away with some really practical things to implement. So I hope you enjoy this episode. Janelle Zammit, I am so excited to welcome you to Midlife Unraveled.
Thank you. I'm excited to be chatting to everyone.
Great. Now, as a naturopath and an expert in gut health, you've worked with hundreds of women, particularly in the stage of perimenopause and menopause. There are so many areas that we can discuss today, but I wanted to focus in particular on one that is really troubling to women, and that is weight gain. Now, as you know, I'm not one to focus on dieting and the latest weight loss techniques, but this is a symptom of menopause that I think can really undermine the confidence of so many women, particularly at a time in life that can be vulnerable. We can all be feeling vulnerable at this stage. So let's kick off and start with looking at where in the body the weight is accumulating and what's causing this.
Okay. I wanted to kick off about perimenopause in particular. It happens to women from the ages of 38 to 52. Everyone gets it at different times. Some women a little bit earlier, some women later in their 40s. So it kind of comes as a rude surprise to most of us. We're like, oh, what's those extra kilos happening? And I was speaking to Anita earlier, and that when we go through perimenopause, the main hormones that we're lacking is actually progesterone. Our bodies work in the sense that the progesterone drops first, and then when we hit menopause, we get the low estrogen, which is when our cycle and our period or mens is stopped for more than 6 months. So when it happens with when you go through perimenopause, you get low progesterone. And the reasons for that, progesterone, its job is to break down fat, and it's also its job to reduce fluid retention. So a lot of my clients, they start to become a bit more pear-shaped. That's around the hips, around the upper thighs. They start to retain more fluid, and up to a couple of kilos of weight gain can occur. There's a lot of reasons, not just because of hormonal things, but also the other reason with perimenopause is as we age, our stress levels go up and our cortisol levels go up. And when that happens, we also start to not sleep well. And sleeping can cause up to 1 to 2 kilos or poor sleeping, 1 to 2 kilos per year. So ladies, if you're going through lack of sleep for many years, even if it's just after having children and, stress and everything else, there's a big link with not sleeping well and our fat metabolism. So it ranges with different people. So two reasons.
That can also, when you're tired, you don't feel as motivated to exercise. So the knock-on effects of that lack of sleep are huge, and not just you're tired, you tend to eat the wrong foods because you're just trying to get that energy hit. So the effects are far-reaching.
And it's interesting because a lot of people blame it on progesterone and estrogen, and they don't realize that cortisol is a massive, massive weight gain. Like I was telling one of your gut talks, I was talking about stress is the worst thing for our gut health. And if we are stressed, we produce more stomach acid that destroys our gut microbiome. And our gut microbiome's job, ladies, is to break down fat, and it breaks down cholesterol. So if you're stressed and you're not breaking down that fat because your guts, of course, then you start to gain weight, and then you get low progesterone, and then you're gaining fluid as well. So that's why a lot of ladies go, oh, I'm getting it in my stomach, and I'm getting it in my upper thighs, and I'm also getting it in my upper arms. So there's a combination. So there's a lot, it's a big discussion. So not all of us are stressed at the same time. So that's why we're unsure of what to do. So I hope that answers that.
This drop off in progesterone in perimenopause, what are the other symptoms of that happening? What are the other symptoms of the drop in progesterone?
When perimenopause happens and we start to lower our progesterone, excuse me, I've got my little list here. Our main things are, number one, brain fog. That's when we start to forget things. We get tiredness, like you were saying, and oh gosh, I've forgotten this, and then we feel a bit overwhelmed. Number two, we get more anxious. We get more mood swings. I've mentioned number three, fluid retention and bloating. The other things are things like low libido. Ladies, your husbands will love that. We start to not have that libido, and then without that, things start happening. You get grumpy. We also get things like breast tenderness and fluid retention around our boobs. So, and then other things can be irregular cycle. So you could be getting a cycle every 2 to 3 weeks, or you could be getting one every 5 weeks. Low progesterone also causes a bit heavier bleeding. And it can lead to things like fibroids and endometriosis, and not with everyone, but some ladies that are prone to that. And like I said earlier, low progesterone can also cause sleeping issues, and hot flushes start to happen later on when we go through estrogen. So the main sort of 6 symptoms we talk about as naturopaths, our main symptoms are brain fog,
We can all relate to brain fog. I certainly can.
So, but not everyone gets it, but pretty much most people get the brain fog, some mood swings, fluid retention, and then sleep issues, and then sort of weight gain. Most women go through those 5 symptoms, and other women get, like I said, more sort of hormonal bleeding and different problems with heavy cycle and all of that sort of thing. But most of us get those 5 key factors, and I can definitely help you guys today with those 5 things.
So those 5 things that we're looking at in perimenopause, what are the key things that we can do? Because I feel like there's a lot that we can do ourselves with a bit of knowledge. We can actually make some quite good changes ourselves without having to reach for the drugs every time. So what are the things that we can start to take control over with our diet and with our lifestyle that can actually help to alleviate these symptoms?
Okay, so I've listed 7 things. I find listing is easier. Number 1, eat more protein, ladies, or start taking a protein powder. Protein burns calories and suppresses our appetite. Like you said earlier, Anita, when we're tired, we crave the wrong foods. But when we have more protein, we start to have a bit more energy. And also protein builds lean. So we can all eat more protein. And those of you that are vegetarian or don't eat red meat, like myself, we can get protein from vegetarian sources, or take a pea protein, sort of a protein powder that you can get from a good health food store, or even your supermarket now. That's really good to have. So more protein is number 1. I normally like to start the day with that.
That was going to be my question. Is there a difference in the time of the day that we consume that protein?
Absolutely. So starting the day with protein actually suppresses your appetite. There's a big thing about fasting, but when we're going through perimenopause, with all my studies and what I've seen, I find that fasting actually makes you have more sugar cravings and more mood swings because you haven't eaten for a while. So you go, oh my God, it's 12 o'clock. Now I can eat. Let me have some bread.
Yeah.
And oh gosh, I need something sweet. But if you start the day with some like a healthy omelette or some Greek yogurt and berries, which are high in protein, that would be amazing. I also like things like paleo. I don't know if anyone's seen at the supermarket paleo bread. That's high in protein and low in fat. Oops. That's a really good way to start the day. Or if you're not a big breakfast person, please just grab a really good protein shake. You can ask again from your health food store or your pharmacy or naturopath, a good
What about egg
protein
on
powder.
toast? I had egg on toast
Yeah,
this morning.
yeah, egg on toast is great. So, but the next thing I'm going to say to you is actually lower your carbs. So you'll be like, oh,
Okay, there
Janelle,
goes the
number
toast.
two. Number two, we lower the carbs. So the only carbs I kind of like when we're going through sourdough bread or the paleo bread, and only one slice is all we need, ladies. It's more, a lot of people, think two slices of, toast, but sadly, more than one slice will turn to fat. So if you want to sort of keep your body lean, I say lean protein, and light on the carbs. So number one was protein. Number two is reduce your carbs. And that's reducing your carbs in the form of like things like alcohol even. Alcohol is a carbohydrate. And of course, we already know sugar, and of course, bread and gluten. They're all carbs. So the lower we have that, the lower carbs we have, the more fat burning we do. Because sadly, carbs, as we age, they go straight to your thighs. So we
Great.
don't burn that fat. So lower the carbs. And what we can all do, which you can relate to, is number three is exercise regularly. Is so important. So exercise is really important to kickstart that metabolism. So when we go through perimenopause, or anyone that is from 40 and above, our metabolism, our fat burning drops 50%. So you have to work double to burn those calories. So that's why a lot of people come to my clinic and go, oh, Janelle, I look at a piece of bread and go straight to my hips. Well, I used to, when I was younger, I could eat anything. And that's the thing. That's why I say I don't mind carbs, but just lower the amount. So, in your 20s, you might have had two pieces of toast. So in your 40s and 50s, ladies, please just, one piece of good quality sourdough or paleo bread is fine. I'm not saying give up those things, but we just need to halve those things and exercise regularly for what your body needs.
Yeah.
The other thing is, number four, watch your gut health, improve your gut health. Start eating a lot more probiotic foods, a lot more fiber in our diet, or take a probiotic supplement. So important. I've gone to so many lectures and done a lot of lectures, and there's been a big research articles on how probiotics actually can help burn fat, and taking a probiotic supplement within 3 months you can burn 2 kilos, which could be a big difference to that just stomach and waistline. So absolutely. And you heard me say reduce your stress, so that's number 5, reduce your stress levels, because when you have cortisol levels that are high, and I'm sure we can relate to that, we all are working, we've all got children, we start to sleep badly. And when we sleep badly, like I said, we wake up at 2 a.m. going, oh my gosh, I've got so much to do tomorrow, I've got this and this. We don't get into the fat burning, which is but our good quality fat burning happens between 2 and 5 a.m. It's really interesting. And most of us that have any sleep issues, that's when we wake up, toss and turn, or go to the bathroom and can't get back to sleep. So number 5, improve your sleep. That might be, okay, have a nice bath before going to bed, switch off technology, start to have a relaxing, calming tea, do all of those things, or listen to, a nice meditation thing. Something that gets you into a good sleep routine is vital.
What are the sort of So what
Yep,
are the
sorry.
foods that we can eat at
Oh,
dinner
foods.
that will
Yep. I was
promote
actually going
sleep?
to say,
Like, we're looking at protein for breakfast.
mhm, mhm.
What are the sort of evening foods that will help us with our sleep?
Okay, so with sleep, one of the best foods for sleep is actually things like milk, or they say a good quality milk or cheese or dairy, as long as you're not intolerant, actually improves our sleep.
Hmm.
One of the best things that we can all do to improve our sleep is improve our vitamin D levels. Interesting, vitamin D, highest source comes from mushrooms and protein, and of course the sunlight.
Yeah.
So they've done lots of research articles saying if you get a bit more sunlight without sunscreen, unless you've got any sort of skin cancers in the family, I try to say to my clients, get at least half an hour of good sunlight during the day. That actually improves your melatonin because it improves vitamin D, and melatonin is our sleep hormone.
Yeah. But it
The
can
other
be a
things,
case of getting that sunlight outside of
mm,
those peak burning times. So
yeah,
in the morning, earlier in the morning, later in the
absolutely.
afternoon. So we're not
Hmm.
going out. We're not in any way promoting that people go out and stand out in the hot midday
Oh,
sun.
absolutely. No,
But
and yeah, but getting
yeah, and we're
more
both fair.
vitamin D.
So
Hmm.
yeah, absolutely. But it is, and I have heard that recently, that those messages for
Mm,
sun safety, especially here in Australia, have been so
yeah.
well taken on board that people are actually now
Hmm.
deficient in vitamin D because they're not getting out in the sun.
Hmm.
They're
Hmm.
covering up fully, they're avoiding the sun, and that's when we've actually sort of gone to the other extreme
Mm.
then.
Interesting, isn't it? It's like, so vitamin D really helps produce melatonin, our sleep hormone. And if you're concerned, you can always go to your doctor and get a blood test for vitamin D. And there's lots of people really lacking vitamin D, like you said, in Australia. But if you want to improve your vitamin D, things like have some mushroom on toast, have some more protein. That's amazing. So the best things to help with sleep, I think, like I said, a hot cup of milk, or I would take things like chamomile tea, or there's passion flower tea. So a lot of teas are more beneficial to help with sleep, more so than food. And you can get some really fabulous teas from your supermarket. They're called relax tea and tea to do with them, but anything that has
Yeah.
lavender, chamomile. So we can all sort of have a cup of tea at night or have a cup of milk. That actually really does help relax you and improves your sleep quality. Yeah,
Yeah, and there
definitely.
are some beautiful ones out there. I know we've been
Mm,
sort of going through the different brands, just
yeah,
supermarket
yep,
brands, but they're just delicious, and you've got,
mm,
sleep time tea, and you've got rest tea and everything else. So there's
yep.
so much out there to choose from.
And
And I think
everyone
it's,
can improve that. Yeah.
yeah, and it's finding one that you like, and doing that as a process in the evening. So all those little things I think do add together to help that
Oh,
sleep.
absolutely. It's like, like I said, if you can have a bath, relax and listen to a podcast or meditation, turn
Mm,
off your technology, have a cup of tea, all of that gets you into a really good relaxed state. So you have a better quality sleep and you sleep
yeah,
longer, which is helping with the fat burning. One thing was my last thing I wanted to talk on is improving your good fats, which is really, really important for
mhm,
women. Things like your good fats are your avocados, your nuts and seeds, your fish. All of those things really help as a precursor to hormones.
yeah,
So our good fats, like most of us are starting to have things like avocado on toast now, or we all know that nuts and seeds are really important for helping produce our hormones, because good fat actually produces our hormones like progesterone.
okay,
Um, the last thing I wanted to talk about is progesterone foods. We call
yeah,
them green leafy vegetables, things like kale, broccoli, and cauliflower, avocados. Like I said, all of those things. Anything green is
yeah,
so. So my takeaway for the top things, I always go
yeah,
green, lean, and relaxing stuff. So
yeah,
green, anything green, lean protein, lean fats, and any of the relaxing teas you can
yeah.
all do to help with your hormones. Yeah.
And the nice thing is that they're all nice filling foods too. I
Yeah,
think, when you're
absolutely.
looking at when you're looking at filling up on those vegetables, and
Mhm.
I've always sort of been told to, fill up on the veggies first, and then
Mm.
obviously we need the proteins, but then the other things, hopefully we don't have as much room for.
Yeah,
So,
absolutely. Good fiber actually suppresses your appetite. So,
yeah,
salad and vegetables, actually eating out before your meal, actually suppresses your appetite. So, you don't feel like something sweet after dinner. So,
yeah,
that really helps because those that have a really light meal by 8 or 9 o'clock, oh, I feel like something sugary and
yeah,
sweet. And when you have those sugary and sweet foods, that keeps you awake because that
yeah,
increases your insulin and also increases your cortisol. So,
yeah,
yeah, the more fiber, the better for us. Yeah,
yeah.
definitely.
What about when we start to move into menopause? So then we start to
Hmm.
look at that, in particular weight gain around our middle. Even if you
Hmm.
may have always been a different shape, you may have always been very slender. I know a lot of women who have been very, very slender, never struggle with their weight. Suddenly they hit
Hmm.
menopause, and the weight's gone on around the middle, or you've always been like a pear shaped. I know for myself, it's always been the thighs have always been
Hmm.
the area where the weight gain goes on, but then suddenly you find that that weight gain is happening in the middle of the body. So,
Hmm.
what can we look at? What's first of all, what's going on there? What's happening?
So perimenopause, like I said, was normally about 35 to 52, which is
Yeah.
normally when we get low progesterone. But menopause is when our period stops for more than 6 months to 12 months, and that is the lowering of the estrogen.
Hmm.
And estrogen burns adipose tissue, which is fat around our stomach. So if we're having low estrogen, we're not getting that burning of that tummy weight. So we need to increase our estrogen foods and things that help with estrogen. So that might be, hey, go see your doctor and look at something for an estrogen, or see your naturopath that does estrogen herbs, or I've got some estrogen foods that I can
Yeah.
suggest as well,
Yeah.
ladies. So we look at how we can improve our estrogen. That can really help with that, limiting that sort of weight gain, but also look at what else helps with estrogen and helps, and that's again back to sleep, back to
Yeah.
improving exercise. That all helps our hormones. But if we're interested in anyone wants to know, the best estrogen foods, we probably already know, are things like soya products.
Okay.
So that's like your soya and linseed breads, or your soya milk, or your tempeh, your tofu, your soya foods. You notice a lot of the Asian ladies, they're often really lean in their
Yeah.
40s and 50s. They're so blessed because they have a lot of soya in their diet in those sort of countries. So start having soya beans in your, like you can add them to your salads and things like that. And that's really important. That's probably our
Yeah.
best estrogen, easily estrogen foods.
So how much
But
do we
again,
need? Sorry,
mm,
how much do we
how
need of
much we
those?
do? Look,
Sorry.
everyone's different. It
Yeah.
depends on your body size and it depends on your genetics. But we can all start to add a little bit. Like sometimes I might go to a Thai restaurant instead of going the chicken stir fry. I might get
Mm.
vegetable and tofu stir fry, or I
Yeah.
might go instead of just getting the white bread sourdough, I'll get the soya and linseed sourdough. So you
Yeah.
can start making those changes, or soybeans into your salads. Pumpkin seeds are really good too. Start adding food as medicine into your foods, like
Yeah.
so good.
So those little
Um,
incremental amounts, which on their own wouldn't be enough to make a big difference, but if we add them
it's
in from various
daily.
different sources, that can actually help to boost those estrogen levels.
Absolutely. And back to gut health, one of the biggest things, ladies, your gut microbiome or your good bacteria actually help produce estrogen and progesterone. So if you're not looking after your gut health, you're not helping your body go through that sort of midlife changes. So one thing I absolutely have done for the last 10 years is take a probiotic every day, because I'm not always great at taking yogurt and
Yeah.
the probiotic foods, like I said. So start adding more probiotic foods or a probiotic supplement into your diet, because that actually helps produce your estrogen and progesterone as well. And we can all do that. Probiotics are safe to take from newborns to
Yeah.
100. So they're actually something that we can all use. And again, ask your pharmacy, health food, or naturopath,
Are
which is the
they
best probiotic.
are
Mm.
they all the same sort of thing? But
No,
they're in
no,
quality.
there's
Do they do different things? So can you get a probiotic that is particularly effective in boosting those estrogen levels?
Absolutely. There's been a lot of clinical trials, and I don't know if I can show you my posters, but this is one of them. I
Yeah.
don't know if we can send a link to it, but there's
Yeah.
a particular strain, and you'll see there's lots of things on there. I hope you don't mind my picture, but I find it quite interesting. I'm very into finding out the clinical evidence to show which
Yeah.
probiotic actually helps. And there's a certain strains, Lactobacillus gacerea, and there's Lactobacillus bifidus, and there's certain strains that actually help produce estrogen, and they also help break down glucose and carbohydrates, which is really important for us as we age, because remember, our metabolism drops from 50%. So by 50, it drops another 20%. So by the time you're 50, you're about, 70% down to what you were when you were in your 20s. So that's why things start adding up. So if we can improve our gut health, we improve our absorption and breaking down those foods. So instead of storing it as fat, we're storing it as energy. We feel better, we lose weight. So I hope that sort of answered that.
A lot of it, and I feel like the weight gain in menopause is a bit of a kick in the confidence, which is already faltering for so many women. So it is really a case of, if we can get a handle on that, that's only part of the problem. In menopause, obviously, there's so much going on, and women are dealing with an awful lot of symptoms. But I feel like if we can take the kind of control, and I feel like that we have that feeling that, oh my gosh, suddenly my body's doing all these things and it's out of control. And I feel that if we can almost take that control back and make a difference with the things that we do and the habits that we create for ourselves, we can actually take the reins back to a certain extent. And actually,
absolutely.
and make a positive difference. And it may not get rid of the night sweats. It may not get rid of all the brain fog, but it will help a little bit. And I think a lot of it is just sort of knowing what we can do and how to put that into place. But I think it's really a time also for us to focus on ourselves and really look at how we nurture our bodies. And you talked a lot about stress reduction, and that's such a key thing, and exercise as well. So it's time that actually we need to prioritize ourselves in these areas, not just to help our symptoms, but to help our mental mindset as well. I think, just to know that you are doing those right things for yourself and to make those positive changes.
Oh, true. Absolutely. And everyone has it at different stages. That's why it's very confusing, ladies. Like, you'll have friends that will be sat complaining from, like I said, 38, 40. And then you're like, what are they talking about? This didn't hit. And then you hit 49 and it's like, wow, I've got that extra kilos. I'm feeling anxious. I'm feeling moody. I'm getting sleep issues. Just remember to be kind to yourself and realize that we all go through it at different times. There is no set time. And I like to sort of go, the more we look after our bodies by trying to exercise as well as we can and do strength training, but not overtrain, which stresses our bodies out. Trying to eat lean and green, like I said, we can all do that. Sleep better and reduce our stress. We will all be feeling so much happier and getting what I call your mojo back. And I have clients that come to me and their husbands bring flowers and they say, Janelle, wow, our wives are not like stressing out and they're, happier. And when we're happier, the whole family is happier. So, it's really important. But you're right, though, when you feel like bloated or you're feeling a little bit like not yourself, things aren't fitting, and you're working out and then you might be fasting and you're like, what's happening to me? Look at seeing a really great professional or go, okay, see your doctor and get your hormones checked. You might have a low vitamin D or something like that, but starving yourself will actually increase your cortisol and actually slow down your metabolism. There is so much evidence. And, I don't mind a little bit of fasting, but not like I have clients that, maybe eat one meal a day, and that can't be great. I'm sorry. I don't know who's ringing me. Janelle. It's just doing those things to be kind to yourself.
Yeah.
I didn't mention what I would really love to mention when we're talking about sleep earlier. I don't know if I mentioned before, is having a nice bath with some magnesium Epsom salts, because magnesium
Lovely.
absolutely relaxes your body, which will help your sleep, and like I said, will help reduce the weight gain, and again will reduce your anxiety, because if you're
Yeah.
sleeping better, and when we are anxious, we do crave those carbs and want an extra
Yeah.
chocolate or an extra glass of wine. So, making sure you do those things is really
Yeah.
good as well.
You mentioned fasting. Now, this is something that
Mm.
I feel has been talked about a lot.
Hmm. Hmm.
And, obviously started with the 14, 10, 14,
16, 8,
Michael
5,
Mosley,
2, 4.
yeah,
Yep.
whatever
I know.
combination of 24 you
I've
wanted to
known
go to
Michael
now.
Mosley, and
Yeah.
I do like fasting, but not for everyone.
Yeah.
So when you're going through menopause, and I don't mind a little bit of fasting, I'm a big believer at least 12-12, or
Okay.
which means stop eating at 7, don't eat again to 7. That's what I do every day. It's very, very good to do that for your gut health.
See, to me, that
Um,
doesn't feel like a massive, when you say
no,
fasting, I,
a
I
lot of
don't
people
feel
snack
I don't
though.
feel like 12-12 is necessarily a fast as such. It's more just kind of a late breakfast.
Yeah,
But
yeah,
it's good
but a
to
lot
know
of
that
people snack.
yeah, and
A lot of people have dinner and eat something at 8:39, and you go to bed with those extra calories. So,
yeah,
and then you can do up to 16, 8, which is great.
yeah,
But any more than that, that can suppress the metabolism.
yeah,
So some people go like, 20 hours without eating. And sadly, the more we, don't eat, that slows down our metabolism.
yeah,
So a lot of doctors, nutritionists, we say, yeah, a little bit of fasting is good, but not extreme, because it will suppress your metabolism. It's a bit
yeah,
like exercise. Too much exercise is not good for the body,
yeah,
but it's all about balance, ladies. And you would know that too.
yeah.
Anita, you would know that at the gym. You wouldn't want everyone pushing themselves and killing, your
No,
bodies are
and
all
that's
worn out. Yeah,
and
it's
that's very
balance.
much yeah, and that's
Mm,
very much what we talk about at Studio as
mm,
well. Is very much listening to your body and doing what feels good for you. And I feel that
mm-hmm,
this is another case of that very much. We need to put that into practice. So we need to see how we're feeling
mm,
and what we actually do. So if the fasting, and I know for me, it's never really
mm,
worked out well.
mm-hmm.
Either I get dizzy and I feel like I'm going to pass out,
And then you
or
you actually eat more bread. Like you're
yes,
so
yeah,
hungry, you won't do that one slice on eggs. You will do like, oh my God, I need a toasty or something like that, and a coffee. Because you're so you're exhausted. You need that blood sugar. Yeah,
yeah,
so it's interesting. I think fasting is very good for men. Amazing, because they're not
yeah.
dealing with estrogen and progesterone. So I don't know if you had family members or husbands that have lost the weight by not eating, or
It's so
fasting,
unfair, isn't
and
it?
it's so unfair. But when we're dealing with estrogen and progesterone, yeah, because that's going to throw your body out of whack, and you already got low progesterone, so you're already
Yeah,
feeling anxious and tired. So if you fast, then your blood sugar drops and you feel worse, and then so when you do start eating, you're starving, and so you eat too much. My
yeah.
theory is I try to do like 3 to 4 small meals a day, and I'm just hit 50, and I'm well and truly perimenopause and probably
Yeah,
nearly to hit menopause. So I know for me, since I've adopted that, I'm actually feeling so much better.
yeah,
I'm not feeling so moody,
yeah.
and then I'm not feeling like cravings. Yeah, all of that. Yeah.
What about
So
snacking?
listen.
Because
Hmm.
often, obviously, if
Hmm.
we're not fasting, we are having, 3 meals a day
Hmm.
or two
Hmm.
meals a day, whatever works for
Hmm.
you.
Hmm.
What are some healthy sort of go-to snacks that we can have?
Absolutely. I like to do good, healthy fruit. Like
Mhm.
it sounds interesting. We all think fruit's good for us, but some fruits are higher in GI, which is glucose. So sadly, because our metabolism has dropped at least 50%, we want low GI foods, which are things like more like the blueberries and things like apples, but not red apples, but green apples, a pear. They're better, sort of the berries and the high fiber fruits, and a kiwi fruit is a lot better than say a banana, which is great for us but high in sugar. Very good before
Okay.
training, but if you're having a banana late in the day, has a lot more fructose, which is fruit sugar. And
Okay.
sadly, because our metabolisms drop, we store it as fat. So if you have low GI fruit as a healthy snack, that's perfect. But when you're going through perimenopause and menopause, we suggest maximum of 2 pieces of fruit a day.
Mhm.
Mainly reason because we're not burning that sugar as we used to. When they're
Okay.
younger, like children, they can have 3 to 4 because they've got a great metabolism, all of that.
Yeah.
So I look at things back to my protein food. So you could either do a protein shake or you can do raw nuts, things like almonds, Brazil nuts, sesame seeds. You can add to that in your salads, pumpkin seeds, protein foods. Or
Nice.
if you like eggs, like a boiled egg is quite a good snack. Or some cottage cheese and a few rice crackers. My favorite go-to is carrot and hummus and celery
Nice.
sticks. We've probably all heard of that.
Yeah.
That's great. Or you can make your own protein balls, which
Yeah.
are gluten-free, or even like some good, healthy, like popcorn, like an organic popcorn. That's also really low in calories and it's got fiber in there, which is quite a
Yeah.
healthy snack if you're feeling
What
like, you know.
what about supermarket, you sort of think from the health food aisle. I was in the
Hmm.
health food aisle of a supermarket yesterday and looking at the healthy snacks, like all the bliss
Mm,
balls and that kind of thing.
yep,
And I ended up walking out not buying anything. It's like, I
I
don't
know.
know
It's
whether
overwhelming.
whether these are
Mm,
actually good for you or not good for you or just high in sugar or
hmm.
you know,
I
because
try to make my
you mentioned
own. Yeah,
yeah,
yeah. Because sadly, there is a lot of sugar and preservatives and different things. And it's different if you're children. Oh my gosh, there's some great, like,
yeah,
snacks and muesli bars, but they're burning those calories. But for us, we can make your own protein balls, which are great. So I'll use some dates. Some coconut, some almonds, a good protein powder, and sort of I'll blend something like that and either a little bit of coconut sort of milk and blend it up and make it to like a protein ball. Or I sort of the best thing to do is actually just eat like a trail mix, then actually go a muesli bar
yeah,
because most of the muesli bars have got nuts and seeds in there, but they've got the added sugars to hold it
yeah,
together. So if you think, oh gosh, what's a good snack? You can actually buy those little
yeah,
trail almonds, raw almonds, and things like that.
yeah,
Or if you're really in a hurry, get some good Greek yogurt. Like the high protein Greek yogurt is fabulous to have as a snack because it's
yeah,
high in protein. It's got the good fats. Oh my goodness. Sorry. People calling it. It's a good snack you can have, like, at 3 o'clock if you're tired. Get one of those good Greek yogurt, natural yogurt. Please don't get the sugary ones like the mango
right,
flavor, because that's where the hidden sugars are always at. So
yeah,
yeah.
yeah,
But when you're
fantastic.
in the supermarket, they do those carrots and
Well, they
celery
do
with a
chop
bit of
carrots now. It's
hummus.
fantastic.
Mm,
So, the
that's
carrots
a
and
great
hummus.
snack.
Yeah, and then
Yeah.
you can pick that up and you've got a bag of already chopped carrot and, you've got your little hummus dip. So it's actually perfect. I feel like going to the supermarket is
Yeah.
you can actually pick up some healthy things to have,
Absolutely. And I don't know
on
if anyone
hand.
likes cottage cheese, but cottage cheese on some rice crackers are great.
Mm,
Or a bit of avocado on one of those corn things.
yeah,
That's such a good snack as well. Protein will suppress your appetite longer, make you feel full, and also they will give you more energy because protein gives you energy. Well, sugar, we get energy for a few minutes, but you crave more and you want more.
yeah.
And then the hidden calories come. Yeah, yeah.
Exactly, exactly. So, Janelle, it's been fantastic chatting to you. Can you
Good,
give us
yeah.
3 takeaways? 3 little
Mm,
things in a
mhm.
nutshell that we can actually implement straight away.
Okay, so number one, like I said, let's reduce your stress and cortisol and improve your sleep. That is so important.
Mhm.
So that's with getting a relaxing tea, taking up one of your yoga classes, doing a bath, going for a walk, listen to a relaxing podcast. So reduce your stress, improve your sleep. That's number one. Number two, reduce your carbs, your white carbs.
Okay.
So everyone can do that. Look for that healthy soy and linseed bread, or the paleo bread is one of my favorites because it's full of seeds. and lower your carbs, and definitely don't do any carbs after 12. That is the biggest thing to take away and help you, because if you eat carbohydrates later in the day, you store it as fat. So I'm not saying give up your carbs, but just eat them earlier in your day.
Okay.
Number 3, improve your gut health and liver health. So improving your gut health with probiotic foods like the yogurt, the tofu, tempeh, kefla, fermented foods, or take a probiotic foods. And what I mean by liver health is like things like psyllium husk, LSA meal. Good fiber actually keeps your liver nice and healthy, and drinking lots of water keeps your liver nice and healthy, and lowering your alcohol, of course, keeps your liver nice and healthy. And I was actually going to add number 4, don't forget to exercise. I know you said 3, but exercise to your body's needs. So I try to do something every day, and that's like, it could be have a walk, or, might be do your strength training, because strength training is really important for menopause, because our bone density drops. Or do a yoga or Pilates class or something like that. So I know you said 3, but I feel like 4 is And so I'm here to help you guys. If anyone's interested, please, you can send me a little email. I don't know if you want to, but
where can people find you, Janelle?
Yeah, I work at Health Matters at my clinic, just down the road from Flex, on Sailors Bay Road. And
what
I do
Instagram.
I do wellness retreats. So it's Janelle _health or Janelle _Zammit. So kind of come up under both of those on my Instagram page, or there's a Health Matters website page. But any of those things, I'm always happy to help, but there is so much information out there. But if you keep thinking lean, green protein, you're doing so much for your body.
I like that. Lean, green protein.
Yeah, definitely. So, we can all do that. And you'll start having less hot flushes. You'll sleep better because you're not having the stress, because stress, makes it all worse.
It makes everything worse.
Yeah. And I know you're all probably laughing because we've all got kids, we've all got stressful lives, but start to be kind to yourself, drink that relaxing tea, have a bath.
Even if you don't have kids, I mean, there are so many stresses. People have got careers, people have got everything, so much going on. And
or health concerns, and
it's hard to handle sometimes. So, I feel like take back the power and actually start to put these things into place. And you may not notice a difference after day 1, but the cumulative effects are definitely there.
Absolutely. So, a lot of the studies that I've been talking about today, especially the probiotic studies, and even the protein studies, and you've improved your gut health, within 3 months, you do notice massive changes. I was actually going to suggest also, ladies, things like massage is great for women our age, because
that sounds nice.
we retain fluid, and sometimes improving your circulation. And that's another podcast I'd like to talk about: dry skin brushing, improving your lymphatic system, because we can all do that. And sadly, as we age, our circulation gets worse, and we can all benefit from massage. It helps us with stress.
I think we can all benefit from massage. That's definitely that's a key takeaway.
So I know I'm only supposed to have 3, but I kind of, there's quite a lot, and there's a lot that everyone can do that doesn't necessarily cost so much. You can do those small changes every day, and I really hope that everyone's taken away some information. They don't think, oh my gosh, it's me, but know that every single female goes through this, and every single female, their metabolism drops at 40-50% in women. Men, sadly, later in life again. So that's why women, like, if we're feeling bad about ourselves, know that this is just hormones, and this happens to all of us. And we're all going through it. We all need to look after each other.
Absolutely. But I think, underpinning that, we can do something about it. We can actually take those steps. And you've given us some fantastic advice. Thank you so much.
Good. Pleasure.
It was lovely to chat to you, Janelle. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you so much for joining us today. We hope you enjoyed this episode. Please like, share and subscribe so you can stay updated with more from Midlife Unraveled. To see more Midlife Unraveled, follow us at midlifeunraveled.com or at Midlife Unraveled on Facebook and Instagram. We'll see you soon.